Okay, so I've previously made a tutorial on how to change the Grovia hybrid side elastics, but I have not done one for the back elastics. I'm going to be doing the through the side method rather than through the front method. So these are the things you're going to need to fix your elastics. So you'll need your diaper, a seam ripper, a ruler, you'll need 2 safety pins, you'll need a needle to use with your thread, you'll need thread that matches your diaper. I use white thread as well for the elastic. Pen, 1/2 inch elastic for the back elastic, and scissors as well. So the first thing you'll need to do is measure your elastic. So we have our 1/2 inch elastic here. I'm just going to make a mark with my red pen, and then we are going to measure out 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll make a mark here, double check, 5 inches. Okay, and we're going to snip. I like to leave this little bit of extra because it does start to fray when you pull it through the diaper, so we'll probably cut most of that off later. Next, we need to open up our diaper. So you'll need to do this on both sides of the diaper. You'll need to cut about, I think it's 1.5 inches. Yeah, about 1.5 inches. So you want to start at this line here where the flap attaches, and then go and about 1.5 inches from here. So we're going to stitch rip in between this white and the colored. Sometimes if you pull, you'll be able to see the elastic in there, or the thread in there. So you just want to end up seam ripping that thread there, not any of the fabric. Once you get a couple out, it's easy to just pull and see the rest. You can try and do a little less than 1.5 inches if you want to. It makes closing it up later easier, but I just have trouble getting the elastic in and seeing what I'm doing if I don't have about 1.5 inches cut out of it. Okay, so now it's getting a little more tricky. We're just going to keep going. And I'm going to take any threads that I see in between here, I'm going to pull them out. So we're pulling on the diaper, and we are cutting the threads. So at this point, you can see we have our PUL layer here, and in between that PUL fold, there's the elastic right here. Now this elastic's really gone. There's nothing here. So when we pull this elastic out, basically just looks like a piece of fabric here. There's no elasticity to this at all. So I'm going to take my safety pin, stick it in here somewhere. So this safety pin just stops the elastic from going in through this channel here. It doesn't matter so much with this because it's not stretchy, but when you have a stretchy elastic, it'll want to pull itself through the channel. So we're not quite as far as this, so I'm just going to do, we are, maybe one more stitch here. Now you'll come across a whole line of stitches. You're going to have to cut all of those out. So just carefully seam ripping all these little guys out. Okay, so all of those elastics, all of those stitches are out. So now we've stitched all the way up to here. So now we just need to get the last couple that are keeping this elastic on. So you can flip that right inside out, or inside out, and try not to stab yourself. There we go. The elastic is off. So it's pretty clear where the elastic goes. It goes right along this line, but straight. But we'll draw it on anyways, since that's where the elastic came off of. We're not going to lose this because there's a pin on it. Now we need to do the other side. So we're going to do about 1.5 inches from here. Actually, I'll do a little less and you'll be able to see why you have to cut so much. So we'll try and just do a little hole there. Maybe one more. And another one. Okay, so we've went up to this line. See, now it's very hard to get that elastic out because the hole is so small. So once again, we'll need to rip out in between these two layers until we find the end of our elastic. Ooh, this one was really easy. The last one was very hard, and this one was very simple. Flip this inside out so we can see the elastic. Oh, I see what happened. It's in farther. Okay, let's keep going. So we're going to have to rip a little bit more here because we're not at the spot where we can get our elastic out. Oh, there's the line. It's just harder to find in this one. So this is the line that keeps the elastic in the diaper stretched out. So this is what we need to take out. Some people will leave the old elastic in and just sew another one on top. You certainly can. It just creates a weird bulge that I'm going to cut the whole diaper out, then I'm going to, get all the crap out that I don't need. Let's try and just pull it. Yeah. Okay. So I think I got most of it out. Nope, I didn't. There we go. All the elastic is out. Ooh, we made a hole in the PUL there. Not good. Oh, and we should have put the pin in here so we didn't lose it. So always, as soon as you pull that elastic out of the diaper to begin with, as soon as you have a hold on it, stick the pin in it so you don't lose it. So the elastic should have been attached in about here. Okay, so the next step is we are going to attach our new elastic to one of these dead ends of elastics. I'm going to use my teal thread here just because these stitches are temporary. We're just putting them in to pull the elastic through, so we'll be taking them out again, so it's easier to take them out if you can see where they are. So I'm just going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we went one direction, now we're going to go back again. Oops. And then when you have your loop at the end, you're just going to pass your needle through your loop, and that's going to make a knot. Leave a tail, and snip, snip. Okay, now you can take your pin off because it's not going to pull itself through, but you're going to put your pin on this end here because you don't want the new one to pull all the way through. If your elastic pulls all the way through, you can use a certain tool to pull it back through the channel, or you can use a safety pin or something, but it's a big pain, so it's nice to... It's definitely easier to use the old elastic. Okay, so I'm going to fold this over here because we want to keep it within the channel. If it's in this half of this part of the channel, then it's going to wear down this material. The PUL is pretty strong, so it's not going to wear down. So I'm just going to pull on this end slowly. I might actually attach this to the lining here. That way it definitely won't get pulled through. And we're going to keep pulling. Yay! We have elastic. So now we're going to take these stitches out, which should be pretty easy because they're just loose. There we go. Very dead elastic. Okay, so next step, we need to sew this elastic into this channel. So we want to make sure that this is folded into this channel. We're going to have to actually open up this channel and try and stick this red line as close to the inside red line as you can get. I know it's impossible to see there. It is right there. Okay, so we've got our elastic lined up, and we are going to stitch it using some, well, I'm going to use white thread. You can use whatever you want. In theory, it should all be hidden on the inside of the diaper between the liner and the fold over part of the PUL. Okay, 1, 2. Good. do another knot in here. So pull till you have an end, or a loop, loop it through, pull it through, tuck in the tail. There you go. And that thread shouldn't be going anywhere. Just a note, you should be using poly thread. Cotton thread might cause, I don't know, people say it might cause wicking. It's not likely. Okay, so we're just going to tuck this back in. We can probably snip off that tail. Tuck, 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 tuck. And it's beautiful. We're going to close that up later. We need to do the other end of our elastic. Okay, so we safety pinned this guy on so we wouldn't lose it. Make sure when you're working you have a good hold on this because it can go back through. It's not pleasant to deal with. Okay, and we need to do the same thing. So I need to take this red line and I need to line it up with the red line that I drew in here. There it is. There's the fold over here, so we're actually going through like at least 3 layers of PUL, which makes it harder to get the needle through, but we'll make it nice and strong, I guess. Okay, so we're going through here. We're going to make a knot. Okay, and then we're just going to go once up and once down. Don't put your stitches super close to this edge because, as you've seen, it does fray off a little bit. So you want to leave a little bit of extra at the edge. It is difficult to tuck in, but you're less likely to lose your elastic. And then you'd need to do this all over again, which would not be ideal. Okay, so we went up and now we're just going to go back down. Okay, so 2 elastics in. It's easier to do up this edge when you have a little bit of extra give in the spot, in the elastic on that edge. So we're going to do this side first, and I'm going to pull this elastic. It's already attached on both sides. I'm just going to pull it out to this edge. Come on. Oh. There we go. Okay, so now we have lots of extra here. And we're just going to flip it in. Okay, this way we don't have to pull on this while we are sewing. So we're going to use our matching thread here. Now, I'm going to put a graphic in here that shows what a ladder stitch is. So this is the ladder stitch. It takes some time to perfect so that it looks good, but I mean, if you're going to be using these diapers for a couple years, it's definitely worth the cost savings to buying old diapers and fixing them up. It's worth trying to figure out this ladder stitch. Okay, so I'm hiding my tail in here. not really a necessary step. And then we're going to make a little knot, but we're going to make it all the way in here so that nobody will be able to see it. Knot. Okay, so the basics of the ladder stitch are, you want to make little tiny stitches, but you want them to be on the inside so that they're not even seen. So, oops, we are going to make a tiny swoop right here, just on the inside, and of course my thread is attached here. There we go. And then we're going to go directly up, so we want to go straight up from where our stitch came out, and we're going to make a tiny stitch on the inside of the top fabric. Okay, and we're just going to continue like that. Tiny stitch here. Tiny stitch here. So theoretically, if you go slow, you make the stitches tiny and you make sure that they're vertical from the previous stitch. So this one should be directly below where this one is. Then theoretically these should be completely invisible. Okay, and sometimes your stitches will pull this out. You can just poke it back down in. Blue layer, white layer, blue layer, white layer, blue layer, blue layer. Okay, so we are back to the beginning. And we just want to make a little knot in here. So I tend to try and pick up a stitch in here to make the knot on, just so it's a little bit less visible. Okay, and then what actually holds this is not the knot. If you cut the thread too close to the knot, then it's going to come undone. So what I do is I tuck the thread just in between this white layer here, in between the liner layer, and I'll leave a tail. Okay, now we can snip it off. Ha, success. Okay, it's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. Now we need to do the other side. So, as you can see, this side would be impossible to stitch like this because it's too bunched up. So what we're going to do is the same thing as the other side. We are going to find the elastic and pull it out to give us a lot of give here. Pull, 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 and then just bunch this side up. Pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, pull. Pull, pull, and there we go. And this should be tucked in here. Good, so as you can see, it's going to be way easier to stitch now because we don't need to pull that while we're stitching. Okay, so same as before, we are going to tuck it like a short tail in. Good, and then we are going to make a knot on something on the inside here so it's not going to be able to be seen. Knot. Close this up and start with our ladder stitch. Top layer a tiny bit, bottom layer vertically from where you were before. top layer. Bottom layer. Blue. So there's some loose stitches here, so I'm just going to go over where the loose stitches were as well. And we're done. There it goes. Okay, so again, we're going to make another knot here. Try not to grab too much. I'm just grabbing the stitch from that was done in the factory, grabbing one of those stitches, and then we're going to weave our tail in here. So we're going to try and go in between those layers, and I'm just going through the white inner layer here. Done. Snip. And it's still all pulled onto this side. We can even it out. And your diaper looks basically new. I mean, we didn't affect any of these stitches or these edge stitches. Like, the only thing that's going to tell that you changed the elastic is going to be if you can tell that I stitched there, and I don't think you can. Okay, that was changing the back elastic on your Grovia hybrid diaper. Oh, I didn't mention, it's exactly the same for the one diaper. You can use the exact same method. Okay, bye.